Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today it's going to be a match between Strelok and Whitera here on Heartbreak Ridge. Two very popular players. I assume this is from 2009 or 2008. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Left side of the map of Heartbreak Ridge is the brown Terran player Strelok from Ukraine. And on the right side of the map, it is the white Protoss player, also from Ukraine. It is Whitera. All right, man, these two players going at it today on Heartbreak Ridge on the Falcon Paladin channel. Hit that like button if you're excited for Whitera versus Strelok. I am stoked for this matchup. I think I already did one between these two players on Neo Medusa for the Patreon page, which, if you want to see some specific casts a month before anybody else on YouTube can see them, some really good stuff, go ahead and hit me up at patreon.com/FalconPaladin. Subscribe for at least $1 a month, and you get that. It's not bad, right? $1 a month, pretty reasonable deal. I think I can find $1 just by, like, finding change under my couch or inside my couch cushions. Even though I don't carry change, somehow my kids end up with change from time to time, and that's where I get most of the pennies that I find in my life. Anyway, good stuff, man. PVT here on Heartbreak Ridge. Two Ukrainians, two incredibly fun and famous foreigners coming at you. Whitera has the better resume, I would say, but Strelok is a very strong Terran player, considered one of the strongest players in several team leagues for high-profile clans such as Zello, Meet Your Makers, and Mouse Esports. Which, man, those are good. Those are good clans, no question about it. You've heard of them. You know Mouse Esports. You know Meet Your Makers. Anyway, did start to play Brood War relatively early, 2003, 2004. Did qualify regularly for the World Cyber Games, being a Ukrainian representative. So really fantastic stuff here. He's gone up against Whitera a ton of times, which is really how it works. You're going to go up against your fellow countrymen in StarCraft more often than anybody else for the most part, which is you're just going to know them. And especially in the EU, where there's a lot of great talent, you're going to go up against players who are just, just your neighbors, whether literally or figuratively, more often than not. Now, Strelok not doing anything too crazy here. I like that he's got a supply depot up here just for vision. In case a drop shows up or a recall tries to happen, he'll have some advance warning it's coming. Really smart. I like it. And kind of hard to actually be killed by Whitera too. He is going for a quick factory, which you're going to want against the Protoss player. Really, more often than not here, is you're going to want that to happen without question. And it is going to be, where's your Cybercore, man? Cybercore on the way? There it is. Cybercore is on the way. And a second gateway coming up here, too, with the expansion. So it seems like Whitera trying to be aggressive. Where did we see this game? I think we saw a game fairly recently on the channel where the Terran player just rushed to tank. Didn't bother with a bunker. Didn't bother with Marine. Just got a tank out really fast. And the opposing Protoss player was like, oh. I mean, all the preparation they had made to go for Dragoons with Singularity Charge got thrown right out the window. It was awesome. I believe it was Smile versus Bisu, if you caught that one. If you didn't, really great PVT, man. Two incredible Korean players. Bisu, the best Protoss player of all time. If you missed it, go check it out, because great stuff there. And that's what happened. So spoiler alert for the first 5 minutes of that game. But I was totally prepared for the whole... We got the bunker, we got the Dragoons, we have the expansion for the Terran, we're repairing until a tank can come out. But that whole thing just got totally short-circuited by going for tank first and going for siege mode real fast. Now, on the other hand, Strelok here, he's going for spider mines instead, which is not going to be scouted. This probe really wants to scout. Oh, look at the surprise attack! And gets the probe. What great play from Strelok. Nice control, nice sneakiness onto that one. So again, Singularity Charge is coming in. Dragoons are on the way. SCV knows this is happening, but you can also shut this down with spider mines to a certain extent. As spider mine research is almost done, this is a fairly long map to traverse. If you're Dragoons, despite the fact that you have 4 legs, you're actually not that zippy compared to, an SCV with a jetpack on his back. Effectively, spider mines needs to finish now, though, for Strelok. He's cutting this a little bit close. And it's done. It's done. Toss down the spider mines. Go. The Dragoons really want to kill those spider mines, but can't do it. Look at them just focusing down Well, getting as much damage off as possible here. Is anything dying? The control by Whitera is disgusting right now. Oh, both Spider Mines take down the already injured Zealot. What a Gosu play from Whitera. But guess what's here? More Spider Mines. So yeah, this is it's a little bit of a sloppier way to do things. I think in the end, Strelok did lose a bunch of Marines and a couple of Vultures. But at the end of the day, the pressure is over. Dragoons do not want to walk into a Spider Mine field without detection. And they're not going to be able to because they don't have detection and they won't for some time. At least not, there you go. Robotics facility on the way. Observatory can be next. And so far, so good. I gotta say, out of Strelok, it was again, a dirtier, sloppier play. You're gonna lose more stuff, but rushing tank maybe wouldn't have worked either. The rush distance on this map is honestly a little bit shorter than it is on the map of the game that I was talking about earlier, so I think Strelok made the right choice. Sure, he ended up losing all of his Marines, but he doesn't care about Marines. He's meching it, because that's what you gotta do to beat a Protoss player. Otherwise, you'll get stormed and revered into oblivion. So double robotics facility? Double... Nope, that is Citadel of Adun. Wow. Brain, focus. You got this. Spider-Man making sure that Whitera can't take a third base anytime soon. At least not without detection. That's really annoying stuff up there. So going for Spider-Mines fast. Really super viable, good strategy out of Strelok. I really appreciate it. Really, Terran players figure it out, as they would say on Letterkenny, which, boy, that most recent season was a lot of fun. I have some questions about the chronology of Letterkenny. Seems like there are some character progressions that were made in the previous season that sort of got reversed in the most recent season, for whatever reason. But I guess I can't think too much about it. Really, that show is just about the writing. Plots are really just incidental. Incidental? Words are I'm losing words right now. Incidental. Yeah, that's a word. I need more sleep, you guys. It is the weekend, though. It's Friday night. I'm going to try to sleep a lot this weekend to do some catching up. So just been really busy at work, really busy at home, really busy with the channel, and sleep kind of takes a back seat every once in a while, but gotta do the StarCraft for the people. I love casting it. I know you guys enjoy it a lot, too, so gotta keep it coming. Never take a day off. That's what I always say. Charon booster on the way. Siege mode coming in here, too. And in case you guys are wondering, I would take a day off if I needed to. If something really bad happened, if something where I was hospitalized or I lost my job or something and it was really bad, then for sure the channel would go dormant for a while and it's just what would have to happen. And you guys would understand because you're all cool. Alright, so Vultures are like, hey, we can take these Dragoons, but then there's a couple more. And they decided not to. Dark Templar on the way from Whitera. Got a Stargate here too. Now that we have Singularity Charged Dragoons and an Observer, Spider Mines, not as good. Like, you're still going to want to toss them down on top of Dragoons if you can. He's trying to bait them into these ones. Look at him just taking hits. I mean, it's not going to work out. These Spider Mines are absolutely dead. Might as well just go home with the Vultures or try to go somewhere else, but you're not engaging here with these guys. Anyway, Dark Templar in there. Absolutely, Dark Templar in that shuttle. Oh, he canceled something up here. Supply depot? Canceled the supply depot for some reason. Here comes the shuttle, and the Goliaths are ready to rock. There you go. Big time shots on that shuttle. Killing the shuttle is a big deal. They get it. DTs are annoying, but now we can handle them with the Vultures and with the Goliaths. DTs don't really accomplish much there at all. I guess they did get a couple Goliaths. But the shuttle's down, and Strelok handled that like a boss. Both players are making some incredibly good plays in this match. I am excited about it so far, and we are not anywhere near done here either. So third base is on the way from Whitera, which Strelok knows about. He probably should take a third base of his own, and he can do it. There's really nothing to pressure him, as Dragoons are kind of trying to sneak around the top side, but really just clearing out Spider Mines. I don't think this is an attack, or anything intended to be an attack, rather, for Whitera. There you go. Third base under construction from Strelok. He's needed this for some time. 52 to 43 workers in favor of Strelok. Doing a good job economically versus the Protoss player, who does, again, have 3 bases already, but really just recently got the third. Arbiter is in production from Whitera at 9.5 minutes because he's disgustingly good at this game. The lower levels are going to see that closer to 15 or so, but that's definitely not what you're worried about if you are a Whitera fan. I'm going to go ahead and harvest through these mineral fields, just allowing him a bit of a, I want to say, an escape route. If something bad happens at the third, the SCVs can take this back door around here and to a more safe area at the natural base or into the main base, whichever he deems better. But having that additional access is nice. And yes, Whitera actually already did that on his side of the map too. So both players have the same idea. We don't always see that happen, but definitely happening today. So there's more and more factories in production. We're going to see some science vessels anytime soon. I don't see any on the way. Although we do have a science facility. So science vessels could be, there we go, getting started. A little bit later than I was looking for them, but they're on the way. Don't worry about it at all. So tank count is going to be huge here. Vulture count going to be huge here. How many Goliaths you make to try to do with the Arbiters is going to be big here too. We see some players not even really bother with the Arbiters all that much. But at the end of the day, I mean, what it comes down to is if the Arbiter can get good stasises off, well, it doesn't really matter if they get killed by the Goliaths or not. Stasises are what really matter here. So, trying to attack on in. This is a nice wall. Dragoons are not going to jump on top of these tanks. The problem is, the tanks are not actually involved here. There we go. Sieging up. Dragoons staying just out of range of these guys. Because siege tanks are mean with +1 attack, especially +2 attack coming in. Upgrades for both players pretty great. And that said, Whitera with no upgrades at all, nor are there any on the way. He's getting his forges now, which is kind of hilarious. So how many Arbiters do we have? Do we see any besides the one that's in production? I don't think that we do. Never mind, there's one. Hey, look, an Arbiter. Chikakazol. And there's your cloaking sound. One of my favorite sounds in all StarCraft. I know I say that every time, but it is just the truth. It is just the truth, you guys. So 3 base to 3 base. 4th base being established for Whitera at the 12 o'clock, which is his base. And the top left is technically his too. Strelok wants to expand it down along the bottom side of the map if he can, although looks like these Dragoons have something to say about that. They're going to try to attack on in to do something about the 3rd base. Tanks need to reposition to defend it. And these guys are coming in to cover this area, so the Dragoons have a harder time getting through. Whitera preemptively gets out of there. He can hear the tanks coming. Just say, I don't have to engage. I don't have to engage with those tanks if I don't want to. And generally, 2 ways you can deal with tanks as Protoss is 1, jump on them early and often and keep the tank count from getting to 15 or 20 or 30 because that's when you're in trouble. And 2 is just let them do whatever they want, but never engage with them directly. I guess the 3rd one is stasis them, so you're dealing with half as number of tanks as you normally would in an engagement. And maybe storm them too, for good measure, as storm is being produced right now. Look, man, Whitera trying to expand again. I'm loving this from him. Strelok has not shown much interest in moving out. The thing about Terran is it takes them a while to ramp up. But once they are ready to go, and once they're in range of one of your bases, it's really hard to get them away. It is hard to dislodge them. I guess tossing down 1,000,000 spider mines is one way to do it. Are we just really throwing down infinite spider mines here, Strelok? Is that your plan today? Oh, I guess he's tossing you in the main, too, just so recall really hard to pull off. Yeah, getting in there with your Arbiter is going to be hard. There are turrets all over the place. Sure, one of them's going to die. But recalling on top of spider mines is suicide for your units as well. Nice EMP. Do you see that EMP on the right side? That Arbiter has no energy. Strelok catching it out. And then just walking on in here, Science Vessel providing detection, which means that, I mean, the Arbiter is useless in this position. He's not providing detection, and he can't stasis anything, and he can't recall. What good is he? Nothing. He's just flying around helplessly. Anyway, Dragoons are trying to attack on the right side. Nothing doing there. Top side going pretty well for Strelok. Bit of a storm, doesn't do much. In the long run, your tank fires. Nice stasis, though. Nice stasis, though. Tacking on in here. Zealots getting on top of the tanks that are not stasis. You can't hit them if they're stasis, but they can't kill you either. And Whitera is really trying hard to wipe out what remains here so that he can wipe out the remaining tanks when they come out of stasis. 2 science vessels down. Whitera is killing it. What a reversal. 1 stasis taking 5 tanks out of the equation is enough for him to just continually push on in. He's actually leaving these tanks alone for the time being. Strelok is no dummy, though, and he continued to macro during that engagement. And he's ready to go. Now, these guys, though, are going to come out of their stasis and be very sad. And there they are. Good EMP, though. Great EMP again. Arbiter's down to 0 energy. Which, I mean, it's not forever. It will come back. Oh, hang on, Science Vessel. Don't get directly hit by these Dragoons. They only have +1 attack. I mean, the thing about Whitera is he has expanded twice. Strelok still on 3 bases. Has not even attempted a 4th base at any stage right now. I'm not sure why Whitera is being so passive, other than he knows his opponent isn't going to be able to take a 4th base anytime soon. And he can just starve him out on 3 bases. That is one way to win a game of StarCraft as well, is economically starve your opponent to death. Yeah, he's like, do you have a base here? No? Cool. I'm going to take this bottom right base, which is traditionally yours. I hope you don't mind, Strelok. Whitera is just, he just has a massively great handle on this game. +2 attack on the siege tanks, +1 armor. Dragoons are at 1/1, so the upgrade advantage does belong to Strelok here, but Whitera is just like, I don't want to engage with your full army. Those poor Dragoons just have bad pathing. They are totally dead. High ground in it here a little bit, too. This is a little bit dangerous from Whitera. I thought he could sneak by, but I don't know that he can. Look at these Dragoons pathing poorly, walking into siege tank fire. Stasis only catches a couple vultures. Spider mines clearing out the Zealot, trying to get into this 3rd. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse for Strelok. Still trying to engage in the middle here. These Arbiters are trying to wipe out as many of the ground units as they can, but now come the Charon boosted Goliaths. And the Arbiters need to get out of here. Take a direct shot from +2 Goliaths. +3 Goliaths, I apologize, is not good for your health. And the Arbiters are going to retreat. 3rd base was forced to lift temporarily, but the SCVs should get back to work. It's 59 to 61 on that count. Probes transferring down to this bottom right-hand base. I mean, if Whitera doesn't win this game after being up this much in base count at the 17-minute mark, I don't know what to tell you guys. Strelok needs to make some incredibly good plays here to win this game. Like, I'm looking at it. He's got a decent army value for sure. He's got great upgrades for sure. He's got a good tank count. But he needs to kill one of Whitera's bases. He needs to expand himself, I guess, here. Or maybe try to take the middle, which is so hard to do unless you're already winning by a ton. And he's not, by the way. So Strelok coming in. He's got a Dark Archon. What? Who makes... Or Whitera, rather, has a Dark Archon. What is happening right now? Are you going to mind control something? Are you going to maelstrom it? What are we looking at right now, guy? What is your plan for this Dark Archon? Holy crap. Storming it down. Cloaked Dark Archon in the mix. Just taking fire from... Okay, he's totally dead. I don't think he got anything down. He has EMP there too. Anyway, tanks fired on this ground army. Goliath's in the mix as well. Storm, though, is a major problem. But some Dragoons just sitting in tank range for no reason. And suddenly, it's 137 to 121 supply. Strelok has managed to expand. He's managed to wipe out Whitera's army somehow, some way. Again, Whitera maybe was a little overconfident, recognizing he had the economic advantage, and then just kind of sat there in tank range with a bunch of his Dragoons for no reason for some time. Another Observer down. I like Observer death sounds, too. It's one of the more iconic sounds in all of StarCraft. So, alright. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. He needs to kill a base and take a base, and he's done it. He's taken his 4th. He's going to wipe out Whitera's attempt at holding on to this bottom right-hander. Whitera can't engage into that. So he's going to sneak around this way and maybe try to recall into the main. But again, missile turrets and spider mines exist. And it seems like a rough bit of a situation here for Whitera. EMP does catch the Arbiter again. So nice. Tanks on the ground. Enough tanks on the ground to cause problems for these Dragoons. Sure, your storms are good, but the 3 tanks back here are going to wipe out that Dragoon count without question. Right side base still getting shelled by a couple tanks. 2 to be exact. And then these probes are gone. And Whitera trying to hang out in the middle despite being down about 20 total supply. and having more workers. So that's not good. His army is not healthy compared to what Strelok is going for here. The Spider-Man count is insanely high. Dragoons have to clear this thing out. That'll take them time, and time is something that Strelok has. Goodbye, cannon. And Strelok just continuing to push forward right now. He has evened up this game. 100% evened this game up. I didn't think he could do it. He managed it quite nicely, though. Some more high ground harassment being attempted here from Whitera. Strelok happy to sit on his bases. He is taking his own 5th now, making it a 5-5 base economy. The good news for Whitera is he was able to get some money off of these bases before Strelok took them, which puts him ahead in the economic picture regardless. 7 Dragoons at a time in production, 7 Goliaths at a time in production. I guess he feels like the tank count is probably high enough to handle it. He just wants to be able to one-shot Arbiters with this, would be my guess. Hey, Recall's finally on the way. I thought for sure Whitera would have that by now. He does not have Recall yet. Single Arbiter trying to sneak down this way. Do you have enough energy science vessel? Yes, to EMP that thing. Sure do. Absolutely sure do. And wanted to EMP it, but Arbiter fled for its life, recognizing the danger. Recognizing the danger that was presented by that science vessel. So a bit of a stalemate here. Strelok maxed out. Whitera at 178 supply. Small army sitting over here. I'm not sure what the plan is for Whitera, why he's sitting in this location. But it is going to be, ooh, are we carrier transitioning out of Whitera? We certainly are. We have no carriers yet. But I think the fleet beacon, well, no. I don't know what Strelok saw to make him produce 1,000,000 Goliaths all of a sudden. Whatever he saw, maybe he saw the fleet, no? You can't tell that carrier capacity is upgrading, right? I mean, you need the fleet beacon anyway for the Arbiters, so... Strange. Very strange. Good game sense, I guess? Hey, hallucinated Arbiters here, taking a lot of the fire. I'm not sure how much that actually mattered, though, in the long run. Strelok continuing to push up here from the south, trying to deal with this ground army as much as Terranly possible. Good storms, chasing Whitera back. We're chasing Strelok back. Whitera on the offensive, rather. Stasis sneaks in from the backside. Is there enough to handle this? I am not positive there is. There are so many tanks back here. That Dragoon army is largely going to get wasted if it tries to get in here. And yeah, by golly, let's get out. Let's get out. So the Arbiters are going to try to kill these tanks as much as possible. As much as Protosly possible. Both the Arbiters do end up getting EMP'd, which is problematic. And then additional Goliaths show up only to get stasis. This is a pretty good stasis out of Whitera. That 3rd Arbiter comes in. Hilarious. What is the... Oh, okay. Trying to do some Zealot drops here. But in the end, it doesn't matter. No friendly fire. Oh, Arbiter does go down. 155 to 133. Is Strelok going to win this game? Look at him taking the center base. Look at him taking the center base. That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. Whitera still down. And chasing him back. Strelok is just being patient, man. Slow and steady wins the race here. He's fired on the 12 o'clock. Like, I don't even... Strelok just keeps winning engagements. He managed to take 2 bases fairly easily. The tank count is super high. Whitera's going to have surprise carriers. But again, I think Strelok's Goliath count is going to be enough to handle those. Great stasis coming down again. SCV's coming in to free up supply, I guess, or maybe do some repairs. Either way, they're kind of clumped up in a corner right there. Zealots running into spider minefields and just getting obliterated there. Again, killing Goliaths, really good for Whitera because he has carriers out on the field right now. 155 to 169, 161 to 169. Whitera keeps losing Dragoons in the middle of the map here. Tanks are being stasis, but not enough. There are still so many tanks remaining. Center base being held by Strelok right now. What are we even looking at? The carriers coming on down south, where there are, to be fair, a lot of missile turrets, which are pretty good against carriers in killing interceptors and getting direct shots off on the carriers themselves. Strelok wanted a quick pause, and then we came back in instantly because that is the power of replays. I would not engage in here if I was Whitera, and he is getting out. He wants to go ahead and float up places where he doesn't take direct hits from the Goliaths. So far, so good from him. Tanks do get into the top left. They're trying to finish off that Nexus before they die to all these Zealots, but nope. Nexus is going to survive temporarily. 12 o'clock base down. Top of 10 base for Whitera. He needs to save that if he can. Yeah, the carrier count is just not enough. It's really not. 6, okay, 7 at this stage, I don't believe are going to be enough here. Any more stasises? I don't see any more arbiters necessarily. Carriers pulling back into their own home is not good for Whitera. He needs them out, killing stuff. He needs them whittling down the tank count of Strelok, and so far they've not really been able to do that. Honestly, sneaking like some vultures over would probably kill this base really fast. If you're interested in doing that, Strelok, I feel like that should be a priority for you. And now dancing to the bottom right to wipe this base out because the Goliaths have to wander on down and waddle down to this position. And the carriers can just fly easily back and forth between these two spots. This is kind of awesome, honestly. Tacking on into these tanks, trying to make it happen, but a great spread on these guys from Strelok, and there is no stasis to be seen. Not going to happen. Sure, some of these tanks will die, but as the army continues to come in here, they get obliterated, and that's exactly what happens. Goliath count enough to chase the carriers back again. How many kills you guys have? 6 kills. 8 kills. 1 kill on you. And then just comes up back this way again, abusing the ability to fly right now. I can't believe this is allowed to happen. Like, there you go. Sending a couple tanks over, recognizing your Goliaths staying home are more important. 8 Goliaths at a time in production right now, and even just killing interceptors is going to be good. Whitera's mineral income is not healthy, and every interceptor he loses that he has to replace is death to him. He has 1,000 minerals in the bank, but he's going to lose all the income from this top left. He has nothing happening at his third. His natural has a couple mineral patches left, but not that many in the long run. He's going to lose out if he keeps relying on these carriers. Oh gosh, getting flanked here by the Goliaths. And then just shoving him away. Doesn't want to engage too far into that madness. Are these probes actually going to... These probes are going to kill this tank, you guys. I mean, slowly. Like, really slowly, but they're going to do it. 9 Goliaths at a time. This is not working for Whitera. It's 171 to 134 supply. Every interceptor that dies is a win for Strelok here. Even if he doesn't kill another carrier, he can absolutely win this game. But look at this long distance mining probe stuff. Again, the probes don't kill this thing fast enough. I don't think, anyway. It's like 1 point of damage. This tank has 21 kills. How disgusting is that? 21 kill tank. Look at him kiting. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Takedown. But he wiped out a lot of probes. There's only 40 probes remaining. 199 to 125 supply. Strelok has won this game despite being down 3 bases to like 7 bases at some point. I don't know how he did it. Other than extreme patience and great positioning and tech switching when necessary. And the Goliath count is so high right now. It is ridiculously high. And there's your good game. Whitera taps out in 30 minutes and 23 seconds. He knew he was done. He knew he didn't have any income. These bases were still super viable for Strelok. And at the end of the day, too many Goliaths. The upgrades were too good. And that was all she wrote. +3 attack, +1 plating onto the carriers. Again, if you know how Strelok knew there were carriers coming, please tell me, because I don't know. I don't know why he started to mass produce Goliaths other than just general game sense and knowing what was likely to happen with Whitera based on the current state of the game and something that I didn't see. Anyway, on this map, there aren't a lot of places to hide on high ground, so a lot of wide open spaces here. The Goliaths catching these carriers out in the open was super bad. The interceptor count was not super high. And the bank for Whitera was only at 500 minerals. This was not going to help him as much anymore, and he just recognized it was time to go. So, again, Whitera's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He was on 7 bases. He was legit on 7 bases. Strelok was on 3. And Strelok won this game. I don't know what to tell you other than that. I said Strelok's got to kill a base and take a base if he's going to win this thing, if he wants a chance, and he did. He killed a base, took a base, killed this base, took it as well, killed the 12 o'clock, killed the top left. Tech switched into Goliaths. His tank count was scary enough. The Dragoons could never really engage. His EMPs were on point versus the Arbiter, so stasis was never a massive ongoing problem. He managed to take the center base, which I didn't even really focus on. He took and held the center base on this map. Nobody does that. Nobody's done that yet, and he did it against Whitera. Of all people, Whitera. Incredible display from Strelok. Quickly becoming one of my favorite players for sure, if he wasn't already. 253,000 points for Strelok, 240 for Whitera. Both players producing about the same number of units. Strelok killing 335 to 270 for Whitera. Resources across the board. Again, Whitera, more gas mined, more minerals mined, and more total spent by about 4,000. But by the end of the game, the cost efficiency of the tanks, of the Goliaths, of the Vultures, of the Spider Mines especially, just caught up with Whitera. You can kill more Terran stuff. You can be more efficient doing it. Or rather, you can kill Terran stuff. You can have more resources to make more things than the Terran. But at the end of the day, they're going to be more cost efficient with it. And that's what happened. So great match. And that's going to be it from me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.